Water damage. Let's be honest, it's a thought that can keep any homeowner up at night. It can happen to anyone at any time. But here's the thing. Understanding what you're up against is half the battle. So today we're going to turn that worry into a solid plan of action. Let's get right into it.
So picture this. You hear that sound, that sudden, awful gush of water somewhere in the house. Your heart sinks. It's a real-life crisis that can happen in a split second. And honestly, what you do in those first few moments and the hours that follow is absolutely crucial.
And here is why everything is so time-sensitive. This number right here, 24 to 48 hours, you need to burn this into your brain. This is the ticking clock. It's the scientifically proven window you have to get that water out and everything drying before a simple water problem spirals into a much bigger, much nastier mold problem.
So to really get our arms around this, here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the hidden threats of water itself. Then we'll dive into that race against mold. After that, we'll walk through the playbook professionals use. And finally, we'll cover how to navigate the aftermath, which yes, includes insurance.
All right, first up, the hidden threat of water. Because believe me, the puddle you see on your floor, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
To make this super clear, we're going to use a case study from a place called Mesquite, Texas. But look, it doesn't matter if you live in Mesquite or Minnesota. The specific location isn't the point. The lessons here are universal, showing how local conditions can create risks for any home, anywhere.
And this is what's so interesting. It's often a perfect storm of factors. So in this example, you've got this expansive clay soil that actually swells and shrinks, putting immense stress on foundations and pipes. You combine that with really high humidity, which is like a super fertilizer for mold. Throw in nearby floodplains and older homes. Does any of this sound kind of familiar for your area?
And those conditions, they have very real, very direct consequences. That shifting soil leads to cracked foundations and snapped water lines. That high water table, it literally pushes water up into crawl spaces. These aren't just abstract ideas. They are specific, expensive disasters that people have to deal with every day.
Which leads us perfectly into our second section, the race against mold. We're going to really dig into why that 48-hour window we talked about is an absolute non-negotiable. You know, this quote from the source material just says it all. Waiting isn't just a bad idea, it's a decision that can cost you exponentially more money and, more importantly, can put your family's health at risk. Acting fast isn't just about saving your house, it's about protecting what's inside it. Now, this is something you absolutely need to know. Not all water damage is the same. The pros have 3 categories. Category 1 is clean water. Think a burst water supply line. Category 2 is gray water, which is a bit murky, say from a dishwasher or washing machine. And then there's Category 3, black water. This is the serious stuff. Sewage backup, flood water from a river, and it's a major health hazard.
And here's just how fast the clock is ticking. Within minutes, literally minutes, water is soaking into your drywall, your subfloor, your carpets. In the first 24 hours, drywall starts to swell up and fall apart. Then boom, you hit that 24 to 48-hour danger zone. That's when mold spores that are already in the air find that moisture and start to grow. And if you wait any longer than that, you're in for some serious structural problems and potential health issues.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty scary, right? But here's the good news. There's a science to fighting back. And that brings us to Section 3, the Professional Restoration Playbook. This is how the experts take total chaos and turn it into a step-by-step, manageable process.
First things first, let's get 2 key terms straight, because you'll hear these a lot. Mitigation is the emergency response. It's the first aid, stopping the source, getting the water out, and preventing things from getting any worse. Restoration, on the other hand, is the rebuilding phase. That's putting everything back together and making it look like the damage never even happened.
So how do they do it? Well, real pros follow a proven 3-phase attack. It all starts with emergency water removal, and we're talking huge truck-mounted pumps that can pull out hundreds of gallons of water fast. Then comes the really scientific part, structural drying and monitoring. And only when everything is verifiably bone dry does the final step begin, the complete restoration and repairs. And this is the part that is just so cool. This is not just setting up a couple of fans from the hardware store. Professionals use the science of psychrometrics to literally control the air and create the perfect drying environment. They use thermal imaging cameras to see hidden water behind your walls and under your floors. They use moisture meters to know, not guess, when a wall is truly dry. It's all backed by serious training and certifications, like from the IICRC.
Okay, so the water's gone, the house is dry. But you're not done yet. Now comes the part that, for many people, is the most stressful of all.
Section 4. Navigating the aftermath.
Let's start with the good news. Your standard homeowner's insurance policy is designed to cover sudden and accidental damage. You know, that burst pipe, the failed washing machine hose. This coverage usually includes the emergency services, water extraction and drying, plus the repairs to get your home back to the way it was before the disaster.
But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? There are big exceptions. Insurance almost never covers gradual damage, like from a slow leak you ignored for months. It also doesn't cover flooding from the outside. That requires a completely separate flood insurance policy. And mold coverage can be really, really limited. That's another reason why acting fast is so critical.
So what kind of money are we really talking about here? Well, the numbers can be pretty eye-opening. A smaller claim might be around $3,000, but a major event can easily top $10,000 and go way up from there. It all depends on the category of water, how big an area was hit, and what kind of materials got damaged.
Now here's a phrase that can be a massive stress reliever: direct insurance billing. A lot of good restoration companies offer this. It means they handle all the paperwork and bill your insurance company straight. You're usually just on the hook for your deductible, which saves you a huge financial and administrative headache.
Okay, if you only remember one piece of advice from this entire section, please make it this one. Your single most important job as the homeowner is to document everything. I'm talking photos and videos before anyone touches anything, during the cleanup process, and after all the repairs are done. That documentation is your best friend when you're dealing with the insurance company.
And this quote right here really sums up the ideal scenario. Finding one great company that can take you all the way from that frantic 3 a.m. emergency call, through the drawing process, and all the way to that final coat of paint, that is a game changer. It just makes a chaotic process so much smoother.
So, we'll end on this thought. Your home is finally back to normal. The crisis is past, but you've learned a ton. The real question isn't about what just happened, but what you're going to do now. What's your plan to get ahead of the game and maybe even prevent the next crisis before it ever begins?